What's up, guys? It's Benny. 2028 presidential cycle is going to either be the most boring cycle of all time, where a J.D. Vance and a Marco Rubio or Tulsi Gabbard just romp over Kamala Harris and Pete Buttigieg. Right? That's like they have nothing. They got nothing. And what are they going to run Hillary again? Go for it. Or it's going to be utterly fascinating and break the very bounds of the Constitution as we know it. Now, Steve Bannon, who, of course, is sort of the beating heart godfather of the MAGA movement, who's a very, very close ally, of course, with President Trump, and has been beating the drum, saying that Donald Trump is going to run for a third term. Steve Bannon has been constantly talking about this and saying that they're going to test what presidential term means legally. Very interesting. Maybe that's what some of the Obamagate and Russiagate stuff is all about, to see, like, did they rob the president of his first term? I can see them trying to make arguments like that. Anyway, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But now, news just broke that Steve Bannon may be running for president. Okay. I'm telling you, things are about to get spicy, and he's already knifing his likely rival. I created him. Let's read here from the Daily Mail. Maybe before we get into this, I want to show you a little bit of polling here. This is from CPAC. And McLaughlin Associates. These are very prestigious organs, right, within the conservative movement. When asked about 2028 Republican primary election, Steve Bannon is number 2. J.D. Vance is number 1 with a massive lead, but Steve Bannon is number 2 on the list. He beats out Rubio and DeSantis and Trump Jr. and Tulsi and so on, and some other big names on here. So this was the last CPAC. I mean, I'm just saying, there's something to it. Let's read. Steve Bannon is in the early stages of planning an audacious run for president in 2028, well-placed sources have told the Daily Mail. The campaign would divide the MAGA movement Bannon helped build by setting up a Herculean battle with J.D. Vance, who is all but certain to launch his own 2028 candidacy, potentially with Donald Trump's blessing. A Bannon-Vance primary would trigger an explosive civil war in the Trump populist movement, pitting the original architect against its institutional inheritor. Sources close to Steve Bannon and Trump have told the Daily Mail that the 71-year-old war room host has begun soliciting political advice. One source in Bannon's inner circle told the Daily Mail that the former strategist has privately ridiculed the prospect of Vance at the top of the ticket. I love him, but Vance is not tough enough to run in 28. A source close to Bannon told the Daily Mail. Bannon declined to comment to the Daily Mail when a spokesperson for Vance did not respond to the Daily Mail for a request for comment. The seeds of Bannon's potential run emerges just days after Trump said Vance would likely be the favorite to succeed him. So President Trump saying this at the White House just 24 hours ago.
You said this morning that you probably won't be running for a third term. This weekend, Secretary of State Rubio said that he thought J.D. Vance would be a great nominee. You could clear the entire Republican field right now. Do you agree that the heir apparent to MAGA is J.D. Vance?
Well, I think most likely, in all fairness, he's the vice president. I think Marco is also somebody that maybe would get together with J.D. in some form. I also think we have incredible people, some of the people on the stage right here. So it's too early, obviously, to talk about it, but certainly he's doing a great job, and he would be probably favored at this point.
So now it looks like maybe Steve Bannon is back with the White House run. Is this what Steve Bannon means when he says Donald Trump's going to run for a third term? Does he mean he is the inheritor of the MAGA movement? Is that what he's talking about? Is that what's going on here? One Republican consultant said while Bannon has long entertained aspirations to run for president, his specific plan remains in the contemplative stage. Bannon, at the tip of the intellectual spear for the MAGA movement, savvy media operator, influential war room, and as previously teased, running for president. In an interview with Politico in March, Bannon told reporters, "I don't like to be a politician. All I do is back Trump and try to move the populist agenda and the American First agenda." Bannon said the question of running for office is too absurd when asked why he wouldn't completely rule it out. Again, at CPAC, he won on the poll. So this is something that is, of course, split the internet. Everybody here saying, here's the CPAC straw poll, by the way. Everybody is reporting on this and saying, goodness gracious, Steve Bannon, who was incarcerated in the federal penitentiary for refusing to comply with Nancy Pelosi's illegal subpoena. Steve Bannon, who gives speeches that sound like political stump speeches. If you ever heard a Steve Bannon speech. Now everybody is chatting about this. Steve Bannon secretly plotting a race in 28. Hey, listen, man, I reached out to Steve Bannon and I didn't get a no. It's very, very interesting. But what we did get is a link. And here's a link from Raheem's National Pulse website. Bannon responds to Daily Mail claiming he's going to run in 2028. Unnamed and anonymous sources have told the Daily Mail newspaper that Steve Bannon is going to run. Speaking exclusively to the National Pulse, after the publication of the Mail's story, Bannon remarked, "Trump 2028." And does he mean himself? Is that what's going on? Does he mean because I'm the architect, right, of MAGA and I was Trump's campaign manager and ran Breitbart? Does he mean me? I don't know. The Daily Mail claims Bannon did not comment on the matter, but the National Pulse can also reveal that, according to Bannon himself, no request for comment was made to Bannon before they published the story. Bannon told reporters in March, "I don't think like a politician. All I do is back Trump." He previously called the notion absurd. Okay, so that's Steve responding. Here's Bannon on Chris Cuomo's show and on Bill Maher's show, both explaining how he's going to run Trump in 2028. I don't know. Now I'm thinking about it now I'm thinking, checking to see if Steve's texted me back. Is this what he's talking about when he says Trump 2028? Is he talking about him running to continue the Trump legacy? Fascinating. Yeah, here are the clips. You decide. Let me know in the comment section.
Firm believer that President Trump will run and win again in 2028. So I've already endorsed President Trump. A man like this comes along once every century if we're lucky. We've got him now. He's on fire, and I'm a huge supporter. Want to see him again in 2028.
And obviously, anybody who doesn't like what you say but judges it as a function of a lack of intelligence doesn't know anything about you. I don't make that mistake. You're a smart guy. He's term limited. How do you think he gets another term?
We're working on it. I think we'll have a couple of alternatives. Let's say that. We'll see. We'll see what the definition. We'll see what the definition of term limit is.
All right. Well, so you're talking about litigating this issue, because I don't want people to listen to our interview and say Bannon's cooking up an insurrection. Bannon is cooking up. You know what I mean? I want people to get a straight take on where your head is. What are you suggesting?
Chris, as you know, I've had greater long shots than this. When we supported President Trump after the election, I realize you don't believe the election of 2020 was stolen. We do. We fervently believe that.
For a third term, is there any Democrat who scares you that he could be running against? Because I guess if we allow that, it could be Obama.
Absolutely. I think that'd be great. Alien versus predator. Let's do it. President Trump already said. President Trump already said.
That's kind of a worse insult to Trump, I think.
If you want to bring President Obama, who I think has lost his fastball, but go ahead and bring him.
Okay.
Okay. Right now, all the governors you have, I don't think anybody will stand up to Trump. You're going to have to run someone like a Stephen A. Smith or someone in your kind of celebrity category. That'll be the Democratic nominee that would have the best shot at President Trump. But I think he's unbeatable. I think he's unbeatable because the coalition that he's built, and it's only going to get bigger because he's bringing back American manufacturing jobs to working class people.
Well,
and the Democratic Party abandoned working class people for the credentialed class that you talk about all the time.
No.
And you can't cosplay being a populist.
No, you're right.
If you're not prepared to take hard things like that, like the trade deal.